Hello, I'm attorney Thomas Burton. I'm an estate planning and asset protection attorney here in Wisconsin, and today's question is the following. Can a husband and wife have one will? Excellent question. I see this come up a lot. The short answer is no. You cannot share one will because you each have an interest. Even if you live in a community property state like Wisconsin, where you've heard about marital property, you each have an interest in the estate. And many people have individual property, meaning not all of their property is marital property. But even if all your property is marital property for a long married couple, let's say they've been married a long time, and they don't have any individual property, you still have an undivided 1/2 interest in your share of the marital property. So you need to create your own will to say what happens to it. In addition, sometimes spouses die simultaneously, but often one dies before the other. So we need to put provisions in each will what happens when one spouse dies first. Now, to touch on your question, I understand that oftentimes you want to do similar planning, and that's okay. And if you work with my office, we do this all the time for married couples, and we have your wills mirror each other, what we call similar provisions. But then they're designed that whoever passes first, the other one mirrors the first person's will so that the assets eventually get to their intended beneficiaries, which is often the children. However, if you do a trust plan, you can share one trust. Two people can make a joint trust and put all their assets into the trust. And this is common planning and a great way to go about it. So if you're interested in avoiding the time, expense, and delay of probate, I would look into putting a trust plan together. And especially if you're a married couple, you can get a 2-for-1 because you both can use the same trust. And because it's a little longer, more complex document, we can build in lots of flexibility for what happens if one spouse dies before the other. And if you're interested in learning more about whether a will or trust is right for your estate, you can check out my free one-page guide I've created. It's a will versus trust decision-making guide. It walks you through the steps to decide what type is right for you. And it really depends on your mix of assets and your goals. So check out that guide if you want more info. I'll put a link in the video below. And that'll help you with your own estate planning. But in terms of can a husband and wife have one will, the short answer is no. I recommend you both have a will, but you can work with one attorney to create 2 wills that mirror each other, mirror provisions. So great question, and thank you for asking.